plug in the microphone and my headset.
Alright, welcome everybody to the Sim Experience SA 2024 Mazda MX5 Cup, brought to you by the Safe Boys. This of course is round 5, coming to you live from the SUZUKA West circuits in Japan. This is round 5 of our 10 round championship. I'm your commentator Dennis Mitchell, and tonight I'll be joined by Sean Woodgate. Good evening, Sean.
Good evening, Dennis. Nice to be back to a very shortened Suzuka West circuit.
Just an apology as well for the introduction, a bit of a boo-boo on my part, a little button error there, but we're back to everything hopefully being correct. So the drivers will be finishing in a moment. In fact, they are actually going live, so we'll jump to the live feed shortly, just to let you know that this of course is a round that has points up to 30th place. So from first place it's 350 points all the way down to 30th place, which is 10 points. And coming into this round, Jason Underwood has retaken the lead with 2,566 points from Gerrit Bierkes in second. Jonathan Benz has now moved up to third place. Bjorn Olofia up to fourth. Gundry Dippenaar is fifth. Melvin has unfortunately gone all the way down to sixth place. Timo Smit down to seventh. Emily Benz up to eighth. Andre Hildebrandt up to ninth. Rian van der Westhuizen up to 10th. And then drivers 11th down to 20th, Dinesh Singh, Julian Brain, Stan Bezuidenhout, Mathieu Rienen, Monet de Ploy, Johan Bierkes, Monet de Toy, Pavicos, Malt van Aarde, Rudy van der Westhuizen. 21st down to 30th, Jean-Louis de Toy, Andy Darnell, Hilke Reiniger, Caroline Just, Gabriel Tepax, Ariane Balder, Rainer Berger, Ricardo Costa, Sean Johnson, and Donnie Stunder. Alright, we're going to go live now. Let's jump to our live feed. We'll go straight into that in a moment. I just need to get the correct feed up. Alright, so we are now live. So this of course is round 5's qualifying, 15-minute qualifying session. The drivers are on track. They have about 13 minutes left to go. I'm your commentator Dennis Mitchell, and joined again this week by Sean Woodgate. Glad to have you back, Sean. We briefly heard your voice a few moments ago, but you've been away, you've been ill. So, yeah, glad you're back. Hopefully everything is well on your side. We have a lot of our drivers that have been sending their best wishes to you, and of course, best wishes go out to all the mothers watching tonight. So this, of course, is Mother's Day, or Mother's Evening now. So happy Mother's Day to all of our mothers that are watching, or the wives that are watching.
Yeah, certainly Mother's Day, they need to be spoiled now and then. But yeah, I got attacked by a very clever man with, I got attacked by a very clever man with hollow knitting needles. I just had my shoulder, there was calcification which was causing discomfort. It all went well, but it all takes a while to get back to normal again. And I see the surgeon tomorrow to get his opinion, and I think I'll probably be back working on Tuesday. Not that I haven't been working, although the wife threatens me. But
you're working too much, maybe.
Yeah, when you're not meant to hold your arm like that, and you're not meant to do this, and which I appreciate, that shows concern. And I've been keeping it very quiet. And the reason I haven't been commentating is in the early stages you actually take pain medication, which makes you a bit deaf. So not that I'm the sharpest pencil in the box at the best of times, but so I decided rather to call it quits and stay away and join once I feel to the best of it. Tonight again, all is good and back to normal.
I'm aware that we have had some internet issues throughout the country. Mostly Thursday I experienced it, so I'm not sure if we will experience anything tonight. I did see 1 or 2 drop frames when starting the stream. It seems to be fine after that. So hopefully everything goes smoothly. I am also recording it, so if there is an issue I can just upload the recording afterwards. But hopefully we don't have any issues. So if there's any issues on the viewership side, just please let us know via YouTube and we can hopefully try and address some of the issues. But back to qualifying. Coming into qualifying, we had, up till the last few minutes of practice, we had, I think it was 3 drivers covered by 2,000ths or 200ths of a second. The first 2, I think, were covered by 2,000ths of a second, and then there was a lap that came that was slightly faster. But the drivers in the running, we have Jandre Dippenaar, Gerrit Bierkes, Sean Olivier, we have Jason Underwood, Jonathan Benz. They were all in the running. Timo Smit was up there. So all to play for the front. It's going to be extremely exciting race 2, and they're trying to fight it out from 10th place. And then we had Rian van der Westhuizen, excellent, up into 6th place as well, in the fight, not far behind. So this is going to be very exciting. Drivers that aren't, maybe usually that close, are quite close at this round so far.
And also the names that you mentioned are typically the guys that you see on top of the points, championship points at the moment. So they are certainly giving it everything to maintain the positions that they have. And in this scoring, I think it's the IMSA scoring system, you get bucket loads of points. But we have noticed, and I did read through some of the comments while I was allowed to, that people were asking, but surely person X should have been in 3rd or this. And then you mentioned that there are also points to be had in qualifying for 1st, 2nd and 3rd. And at times that has made the difference whether one ends up on the podium or not. Specifically for those that didn't finish 1st, 2nd and 3rd in qualifying and get those bonus points, then they don't get a podium position for the round, because other people that got the podium position bonus points and did fairly well in the race, they actually scored those bonus points, make a difference on the day and ultimately to the championship itself.
Yes. Yeah, the points, the extra points for qualifying, you realize because the points for the race are so much bigger, you kind of think, oh, well, they won't make much of a difference, but they actually make a huge difference. So qualifying positions are vital to your points for the championship, and we saw how that's a correction on my side as well. From the last round, the top 3 were incorrect. I had 1st and 2nd mixed up because of that. I didn't realize that there actually was that big of a discrepancy. So apologies for that, but the last round it was actually Jason Underwood that got the overall victory.
Yeah. So certainly qualifying is worth going for. I think it's 35, 32 and 30, something like that, is 1st, 2nd and 3rd in qualifying.
Yes.
So certainly worth having it about. And then what we haven't mentioned either is that in this championship, and the server does it for us, which is very nice, the top 10 gets swapped around. So whoever finishes first starts 10th in race number 2. So all the positions from 1st to 10th get reversed. So they don't take, as we've had in previous championship, how you qualified. It's the actual race result. Am I correct, Dennis?
Yes, it's the result from race 1 that the top 10 gets reversed for race 2's grid.
And that makes for exciting racing as well. We're not saying that the person that finished in 10th position is necessarily slow, because we've seen, as you've mentioned, a lot of the times are very close together, but it means that the guys are consistently quicker and in the top of the championship and might have won race 1. They've now got to come through the traffic to try and get onto the podium. And we've seen some of the guys that have been, and Gerrit, I think in one of the races was one of those, drove very well, but I think only got up as far as 3rd or 2nd position and was quite a long way back for the win. So he didn't get supper that night. Assumably doesn't give him supper if he doesn't win. That's only a joke. But it does make a difference, and I think for exciting racing when we do have the grid reversed from 1st to 10th for race 2.
I'm just going to show the drivers as well how the layout differs. So Let me just find a driver. Here comes Rian. He's going down this main straight, which is where the start finishes. This is on the actual track going into 130R. But instead of going then into the final chicane, he goes through 130R. Now he'll turn right. Here he does a double right-hander. Now he's back onto the other straight. And he'll be heading up to Degner curve.
Yeah. The first pass at Degner is like a 45, and then there's a 90, which is this one. And then you go, well, here's the 90 degree of the Degner curve. Then you go underneath the straight, which Dennis just described, and up towards the hairpin, which is quite a serious hairpin.
And it's just called hairpin curve.
Yeah, that's very original. You can't forget that quite easily.
Yep, and then now we'll go through 200R, so obviously pretty much a straight. And then we'll head down to Spoon Curve, my favorite bend on the corner. So that's basically a double apex. You go in sort of quite wide through the first part, go out to the apex on the outside of the corner, and then bring it back to the inside apex. So it's quite a strange curve. So yeah, you hit the inside line there, then you drift it wide onto the curve, but then you got to turn in earlier because it gets tighter and tighter on you. Kind of a blind exit, and you got to sort of just power on before you can see the exit curb, drift it nice and wide down the straight. And this is where the pit area is and the start is. It's on the right hand side here. You'll see the yellow board going across the track, and that's where the finish is. Well, actually I think we've already just passed the finish, just before that. Sorry, it's between the two boards. So we skip sort of half of the track. We don't do the S's, we don't do the main straight. And that's about the majority of the track, which was actually called the SUZUKA East Circuit. They use that as well. So they use East and West, combine them, creates the full circuit, which is the whole figure of 8.
Certainly is, except for the straight, there is one part where you relax, but other than that, you're busy all over.
So currently, provisional pole is sitting with Yondre Dupinor, a brilliant lap by Yondre on a 1:29.406. In second place, Jason Underwood on a 29.518, and in third place, Gerrit Bierkes 29.7. Jonathan Benz has just jumped up into fourth place on a 29.7. Kima Smith is a 29.8. Sean Olivia 29.8. Matty Renan is a 29.9, so the times are extremely close. And of course with these cars you also get slipstreaming, so in qualifying they are driving alone, they don't see anyone else, but in the race they'll obviously have everyone around them, so slipstreaming will be key in the race, especially with quite a few long straights on the circuit.
So at this stage, is that Jonathan Benz that jumped into pole?
He has, indeed, yes.
Yes. So, and it's by very, very little. It's 0.0.
0.83, yeah.
Yeah. It's so as soon as you 0.0 something, that's less than 10th of a second. I don't think you can blink faster than that. Yandere in second, and certainly they are fighting for those bonus points to see if they can get them. Gerrit Bierkes is in third in the Flying Bumblebee, and I think getting used to this track and the layout, he must be used to the car by now. He's been driving it this is the 5th race, but certainly the track isn't any different. It's just that, as Dennis explained, once you get through 130R, then you can immediately keep to the extreme left and prepare for the double right-hander to get back into the bit that goes back towards the Degner curves. So very much shortened and not much time to get time back, as it were, if you make a mistake, and we're already down to 3 minutes and a few seconds of qualifying.
The top 3 are split by 0.131, top 4 split by, so it is very close.
Yeah. That's what makes this so exciting, and as we said with the race 2 as well, with the reverse grid, the quicker cars starting from 10th and higher up, and the people that finish 10th and 9th, 8th, that'll be 1st, 2nd and 3rd. And we have seen in previous races where guys that get a good start or a good position off the grid can actually benefit with all the shenanigans happening behind them and get quite a lot of distance and just disappear into the sunset. So that could also happen, which means that person who might have finished, let's say, 8th, 9th or 10th in race 1, gets a good start and clears away from the pack, then gets good points, possibly winning points in race 2, and that makes a big difference as to how it is scored for the day for the overall. So very interesting the way the points are going. Jonathan's going well. Where's
Here comes Carrot. He's fastest overall, first and second sector. Final turn coming out of spoon curve. Is he going to take pole? Going to be close. Looks like he's on quite a lap.
He might still be in time to do one more lap after this.
He does. He takes provisional pole.
Right, so just as he does that, internet decides to go blurry on me. So I'll have to rely on you for times for there, Dennis. But a good lap by Garrett there. And certainly it's close stuff.
Jason is now on a good lap. Fastest in the first sector. He's not giving up yet. Of course, the way RaceRoom works, you have to finish the lap you're on before the time is up. Jason is fastest first sector, fastest second sector. He's going to finish this lap. I don't think Gerrit's going to have enough time to finish the lap. It's going to be very close. In fact, he might just.
Different.
Yes, so this is Jason's last lap. He's going to come across the line. He's not going to have enough time to improve. Let's see, is this going to go provisional pole? It's going to be very close. Let's see, he comes up to the line.
Certainly looks smooth.
It didn't improve. Alright, so it's saying the time's up. We have, according to this, we have Gerrit Bierkes in pole position, Jonathan Benz in second, Yandre Duppenaar in third. Drivers are actually still driving. There's 30 seconds left on the clock at the moment, so I'm surprised that the screen has come up like this, because they can still finish laps. Sean Olivier is on a lap. I don't think that he will improve. He's currently in 5th place. So Gerrit Bierkes from Jonathan Benz and Yandre Duppenaar. We're going to jump to an ad break and we'll be back shortly for race 1. Stay with us. See you then. Right, welcome back everybody. This is the Sim Experience SA 2024 Mazda MX5 Cup, sponsored by the Safe Boys. If you have any safe issues, you can give them a shout. Brand new or second-hand safes, they can help you out. If you're locked out of your safe, give them a shout. This, of course, is race 1 of the Safe Boys MX5 Cup, round 5, race 1, a 20-minute race. I'm your commentator Dennis Mitchell, joined once again by Sean Woodgate. Good evening, Sean, and welcome back.
Thanks, Dennis. Nice to be back. And nice to be it's a different circuit because even though we've raced here before, it's different to me in the layout that it is.
Yeah, it's a little different. The corners are much the same from the full SUZUKA circuit. We're just cutting out certain parts of it as we are away. Right, that's it.
Gerrit certainly had a good start and a good qualifying. We got a bit caught out by the server as to what time we were at the time that qualifying finished. So it's different to what we thought. So I think that's Jonathan in the lead with Gerrit Beekers and Jandre in third. So everybody seems to start in. Jason there lurking in the background in fourth position. Obviously he's Jason Underwood. He's all white car. So everybody seems to have gotten through. There's a spin. That's it. It's Dinesh Singh with those, am I allowed to say, the Monster Energy lookalike car. The black car with the lime green stripes. But look how close these top three are. They certainly aren't giving each other an inch. Jonathan Benz from Gerrit Beekers and Jan Ray just a little bit dive up on the inside there. Change. Is there in contact? Has there been enough room left? Everybody still seems to be on circuit. So seems to all's well that ends well now, but you certainly can't know who's in the lead because they are neck and neck, and there's a wing mirror just being misaligned, and yeah, you've got to give enough space. And Jason is looking at this, hoping that they get clear of each other, or I wouldn't say sort each other out. Well, there's track limits definitely coming into play there. 3
wide. Jason on the bumper afraid. He's going to be bump drafting there to hopefully get past the other two on the outside.
Just as I said that, I thought, let me just say it again, I'm not a judge of fact. I don't award penalties or whatever. The commentary we give is that which I see, and it's not meant with any evil intent to anybody. So I do that as just a general cover my bum right in the beginning, that sometimes my mouth says things that my brain hasn't approved yet.
And Jandre Dippenaar is snuck into the lead. Jonathan down to second, Gerrit down to third.
Yeah, and it was a double change there, so they certainly seem to be keeping everything neat. And who's right there behind Jason Underwood? That's Sean Woodfield.
Yes, so, Sean having a good one as well, right in the battle with them. And right behind, not far behind, is Emily Benz. So she's leading the next pack with Rian van der Westhuizen and Timo Smit, so they're also right there.
I see Emily in the championship lying 8th. Oh, it was almost a suicide dive there, but nonetheless, there is a suicide dive. If you rotate, if you turn the front wheels and you're still on the brake, the back end's going to come round. But nonetheless, I didn't see who that was.
That was Malcolm van Aarde. Unfortunately, just losing it there. Yeah.
Luckily, it didn't affect anybody else's race, so he got going again. What I like about this software and the cars that they're racing is you can actually visibly see the nose dip when they go hard onto the brakes, and the one they were with there is the hairpin curve, that very original name, and you can actually see the cars dip when they're on the brakes, and then you know that's not the time to turn, because the privilege I had of doing the Audi Advanced Driver Training course is if you do that, then all the weight shifts to the front 2 wheels, and then when you turn, all the weight shifts to the 1 wheel, and it becomes a pivot rather than a tyre that's able to grip. And that's exactly what happened to Melt there.
So it looks like the battle at the front is hotting up as well.
Somebody off onto the gravel there. I don't know if that's for retirement, but certainly it's not where the road goes.
So it looks like Jonathan has regrouped and he's now challenging Jandre. Jandre's got his hands full. Gerrit has actually got a bit of a gap between himself and Jonathan, and looks in the background as well. There's two car sort of groups.
Yeah. So they seem to have sorted out that very close racing, which inevitably happens in a race, that they were so close. There were, I think, 5 cars, and then a little bit back was Emily, if I remember correctly, and that seems to have settled now into sets. There's somebody being caught out again in that corner. I think it's sharper than what you think, and you must actually be into it just a fraction slower. It's that slow in, fast out. Was that a nudge from the rear? Or just a little bit late on the brakes?
I think it looked like Jonathan got caught out by Yonder on the brakes. He hit the back of him and he got a little sideways, almost lost the rear, and as a result, Carrot now snuck past.
Yeah, so the Flying Bumblebee certainly there to pounce, and you want to be in it to win it at all times. Jason having a look on the outside of who's on the outside of there.
That was Jonathan.
Jonathan, yeah, so everybody still, it's now one car that's sort of in the event. 2, 3, 4, 5 are very, very close together, and it certainly is close racing. Is Timo out here tonight?
He is. He's further back. He's just behind the pack. He actually just made a pass off screen. Well, it was on screen, but we didn't have the name up on Rian van der Westhuizen. So he's currently in 6th place. Rian is now in 7th place.
Yeah, we've seen him in this, shall I say, the leading pack of 5 previously in this championship. So it was unusual not to have the Minions racing car there.
And Stan's going well. He's battling with Emily at the moment. He's giving her a hard time.
Yeah, so close racing all over the place, and I think it's actually nice if you're actually involved in a race, regardless of whether you're 1st, 2nd or 3rd or 10th, 11th or 12th, as long as you have somebody that you can compete against and try and beat that person on track, then it makes it worthwhile. If you're running in isolation, well, if you're in 1st position, then I suppose that's what you're aiming to do. But for those guys that are further back, you don't want to be running in isolation in 11th or 12th position. If you look at Dinesh, I think Dinesh is probably not having the greatest race. He had an event in qualifying where he went into the barrier, but straight into the pits and got that fixed. But he, I think, preferred to either be defending from somebody behind him or challenging somebody in front of him than to race all on his own, as he is at the moment.
See, Jonathan keeps getting track cuts, so he's having to slow down, and as a result, look at the gap opening up between himself and Carrot ahead of him. And now he's under threat from Jason. Jason trying to go around the outside, now trying to do the cutback.
Yeah, that's the thing with this software, and it's very consistent. If you exceed the track limits, you get a warning, slow down. It was a bit confusing in the early stage of when we started with this software, and the guys didn't know exactly how to deal with it. And now that that's been sorted out, it actually does. You have to slow down, I don't know by how much, but so that the server detects that you have slowed down and you've paid the penalty, and then of course somebody that is hunting you down has the opportunity of actually passing you.
Yeah, I think the penalty time that you give back has to be relative to the amount that you've gained. It works out how much you've gained, and it basically says you have to give back what you've gained. So I think you have 60 seconds, depending on the track. I think it's 60 seconds to give it back. If you don't, then you get I think it's a drive-through penalty, and if you don't serve the drive-through penalty, then you get a black flag, which is a disqualification.
That's what I'm just looking at. Is that a drive-through penalty for Jonathan Benz?
Yes, ignoring the warnings.
Yep.
That's interesting. I mean, Jonathan is a veteran in this game. He loves this game. So there he goes into the pits.
Yes, so I just noticed that. So will that just be a drive-through at whatever speed, and he gives up fistfuls of positions, if not the whole field virtually, that'll come past him. There's a few cars still behind him, but certainly he's out of the podium positions where he was. So just as we were talking about the slowdowns, if you ignore them, then that's what happens.
Yep. It does give you a certain amount of time, so I think a lot of the drivers that are new to the sim won't understand how it works. So what they will be doing is they will actually be doing the penalty straight away, and you don't have to. So if you get it coming out of the corner, they're basically rolling off on the straight, losing a lot of space and time. But what you can actually do is wait till the next corner, just brake a fraction earlier so that it sees that you're losing the time that you gained, and then you don't lose as much on track, and that way you can kind of still maintain your position. If you can do it in a way that you can defend enough, that's probably the best way to do it.
Right, so the new leaderboard is Jan Ray Dippenal, Gerrit Beekers, Jason Underwood, then Sean Olivier. Just as I was trying to get through 5th position, that faded on me. But certainly close racing in those positions because less than a second between cars. So you can see their first, second and third are really, really close. So it's Timo Smith that we were talking about that has caught up to these guys and is really, really trying, and is now in fourth position. So Timo got rid of whether he had a bad start or bad qualifying. I can't remember the qualifying, but certainly he's back to fight them on the racetrack.
We see Emily Bent's now getting a slowdown. Of course, she has a father with her at the moment, so he's going to benefit from that. Here we see Monet Deploy. You have Matty in the middle and Rian in front of them. Nice three-way battle going on here.
Yeah, the one thing I've noticed with this, you can see the cars, and we've seen in previous formulas that sometimes guys just disappear into the sunset and it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to win. But as we see there, I think it might have been Gerrit. If the server's going to be nasty, it might tell him to stick to the track limits, because that was a little bit of an off. The bridge that you go over, that you see they just went through underneath, you know that immediately thereafter will follow the hairpin curve, because that's what's normally the back stretch, but in this case it is the straight that they start on that actually goes over the top of you. So this circuit, pretty quick that one can sort it out and know where you are on the track. And for some reason the internet has decided to cooperate, and I can read this almost without my glasses now, the leaderboard.
Good. Good to hear. One less worry.
It's as crisp as a Willard's chip, so mustn't name drop. But yeah, you can see the gaps there. 0.9 of a second between Jandre and Gerrit Beekers. 0.8 of a second further back is Jason Underwood. And then 1.1 to Sean Olivier, then Timo Smith, 0.9 of a second. So give or take a second, there's Gerrit. Curves, a lot of curves. But Gerrit's going to try and no, sorry, that's not Gerrit.
That's Matty in the middle of the yellow. Yeah.
I've got confused before, and I got confused then. Gerrit's car's got a lot more yellow. So let's have Harvey first got a slow down, and Harvey's probably down the bottom here at 17th position.
Actually having a good race, although at the moment for some reason his car's not showing up. He is there, and eventually decides to show it.
But it goes to show that the server is fair, because even as far down as 17th position, you must stick to the tracks, and it's a steward decision. So it's done by the server, and you have to serve it, as Dennis said, within a certain amount of time. You don't have to do it immediately, but you can, as you said, a good idea would be, say for instance, the hairpin curve. You've got to be hard on the brakes for the hairpin curve anyway. So go a little earlier onto the brakes, slow the car down before the curve, and then you can actually accelerate earlier to get out of the curve, because you're going through it slowly. You don't want to be slowing down on the straight, because that's when you want to be full throttle. But certainly into some of the curves. Degner, I think, would be a nice one as well, because that's a 90-degree right. So that it's detected that you give up the time, then that's the places that you could do it on this track for tonight. But then again, I'm only the commentator, I'm not the racer. The guys will know for themselves where to do their penalties for the slowdowns the best. But you mustn't do what Jonathan did and ignore the penalty and then get forced with a drive-through, because Jonathan's back up to 10th and he's chasing Emily, who's in 9th position, and he's only 0.3 of a second, well now 0.1 of a second behind Emily.
Yeah, so Jonathan's having to really fight back to get through the pack. Of course, Emily making mistakes is helping him, but the pack is so close at the moment, it's very difficult to get through. Although, if he gets to 10th place, which he's in, he starts in pole position for race 2.
Which is also true, but I think he'd prefer to have a 5th, that if you were to be rotated, you start in 5th or 6th in any case, than go from 10th, because the points difference is, of course, the thing that does make a difference. But interesting to see with Gerrit being followed by Jason, that one corner a few seconds ago, they actually have two totally different lines through that corner. So depending who you are and what your racing style is, not much that you can do for setup on these cars except the brake bars, as far as I can remember. So they're all virtually identical. Then it's all up to the driver and how you enter into a corner and exit out of the corner that will determine whether you are slow or fast.
Nash having a good race as well. Monet du Toit, another slowdown penalty for him.
Yeah,
Jason
Oh,
having a
that's
look
one.
at Carrot. Andre Dupinard looks like he's got this race in the bag at the moment. He's just controlling the pace. In the last round, we started to see Andre Dupinard showing his pace, and he's just slowly been chipping away. He's getting there in the points. So he's actually doing a really good job. If he can carry on like this for the latter half of the championship, he stands a good chance of winning this championship.
If you look what's happening behind him for second and third, I think that's giving him that gap. Is because Jason's only 0.1, 0.2 of a second behind Gerrit, who's in second place. But Jason and Gerrit fighting each other are giving Andre the chance to get away. And 1.2 seconds is a lot of time to lead a field by when they are this competitive. There you can see first, and there's second and third, the Flying Bumblebee and Jason just behind him.
And on board there with Jason, so we can see from Jason's point of view what's happening. Going for the move, is he going to go? Yep, he's got his nose and then backs out of it.
Yeah, which I think was the right thing to do, but I'm not sure whether they're going to be strict on the for track limits. I don't think all four wheels went onto the green. I'm not sure how it's set up, but definitely all four wheels were rumble strip and beyond. So
It was. He got a penalty because he rolled off now on the straight, and that's how Jason got past.
Okay, so there we go. It was issued and served quicker than what we could have it displayed. So I just saw that as they went through the corner, and that's what pressure does. Now Jason will be after Andre. I'm not sure that there's enough time, 4.5 minutes, to catch him in the distance that Andre has in the lead already, but certainly an interesting race at this stage. Second I think is also fairly comfortable, but now third and fourth, between Sean Olivier in fourth and Gerrit Gekes in third, that becomes the interesting race, the next one. Timo Smith hanging on to fifth position, and how far is Timo behind? Also not far, 0.1 of a second is what I make it, maybe a little 1.1 of a second, 1.2 of a second, so that is noteworthy, the gap.
Oh, and Timo just spins.
I shouldn't have spoken about Timo. And he got out of that corner. Luckily, wasn't involved with anybody else. Andre Hildebrandt, who's way down in the back, gets a slow down penalty for track limit abuse. So yes, they are coming thick and fast. As I said, this circuit, because it's abbreviated, shall we say, it's chopped off after they get out of 130R, then you have a double right-hander and you join on the way back to the Degner curves. But certainly, because it's such a slow, there he gets told again, Andre Hildebrandt, so if you avoid that, I think the next time, or another time, then you might even get a drive-through, which is what you don't want to do. And the survey is consistent all round. Everybody that doesn't stick to the track, there's also, again, not quite sure who that was, but track limits and then some.
Gerrit and Sean having a good battle here at the moment.
Yeah, certainly makes racing a lot easier for Jason Underwood in second, and with them keeping each other busy, that means that Jason can concentrate on one thing only, and that's going for Jandre, but Jandre's too far in the lead, my opinion, with 2 minutes 37 to go in this race. So, interesting racing.
And of course, Rian's got his handful. Matty's working his way forward as well. So, Matty up the inside here, maybe of Rian. Rian trying to get up the inside of Timo. Oh, there's not enough space for 3 through the corner there.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Matty has been squeezed and lost up. But it actually managed to get going again. Not too bad. Rian going around the outside of Timo there. He's hanging in there.
Yeah, and by giving each other room, which is the important thing to do, is that at least ensure that both cars get through the corner. But when it's going all the way to the right like that, at some stage it must go left. And if the car in front is the full car length in front, then he actually has the racing line and can move across. And you have to then make sure that you don't drive into him.
Let's see, can Timo make use of the slipstream now? 1 minute and 40 seconds to go, so he's not much time left to go.
Yeah, it's just more than a lap. So I think we've seen before that when the race leader goes across, then the points come up. So I'm not sure if the server reverts back to where they were the instant before the race leader crossed the line.
Oh, Sean Olifier's had an off. Or a spin.
Oh, somebody, who was that managed to avoid him?
That was Rian now and Timo that have just avoided him, but he's probably had a... Who was he racing with? He was racing with
think he's got a DNF now. That's popped up at the bottom there.
Yes.
That was a bit of good racecraft there, because the corner with the barriers the way they are, they came through the corner, and I think you're blind as to what's on the exit of the corner. And all of a sudden there was this race car in the middle of the track, and they had to drive around it, and they managed to do that quite well.
I think it was Carrot that was having a good battle there, so oh dear.
Gerrit Bekes is in the third. It's Jandre Dip now, Jason Underwood, Gerrit Bekes. Is it Richard van Westhuizen in fourth? Then Timo Smit in fifth. 16 seconds to go. So depending where Jandre is, that's Rian van Westhuizen that's in fourth position. So this is fourth, fifth, and look how close they are. And that's for the flag.
I'm going to have to go to the leader because I think, has Jandre crossed the line yet? Or I think he's on his final lap. No, he has crossed the line. I think it looks like he's... No, he actually is. I think it's just the angle. Yep, he's on his final lap. Let's put this up because it is the final lap.
If that's him there with Jason behind him, then they've just gone through underneath the main circuit backstretch, and they're on the way to the hairpin curve, I think. Yeah, here's the hairpin they come to now. So they just crossed the line before the finish time. Dinesh Singh has a slowdown penalty for track abuse. So they'll go through that 200R, and that will bring them to Spoon Curve, which is that double apex left, and more left. And eventually when it finishes, then you can get your foot on the throttle and go down the straight for the finish line. Here you see the nose dip on Jason's car. Jason will be second, Jandre in the lead, Gerrit Bekes for third, and a long way ahead of Richard van Westhuizen.
Here comes Jandre to cross the line in first place. He'll be loving that. Yeah. Well done, good drive.
And Jason stayed out of trouble enough to stay in that second position. He was third for quite a while, if I remember correctly. And then Gerrit had a moment and dropped down a bit and had to come back. Oh, there's a change for fourth and fifth.
Fourth is Monet Deploy. He stuck through there. Wow.
Yeah, I said they were close earlier on, but right there on the finish line. So these cars are being allowed to do their final lap by the looks of it before the results get popped up in our face. So I don't think, I didn't watch to see if there's a checkered flag and whether the visuals or the software does actually show a checkered flag. Oh, there's a car that spun around there. Was facing the wrong direction, unless that's a car that's retired already. It might be Sean Willifeld with a DNF. So it looks like we only had 19 cars on track. Emily Benz in 9th, which is still in front of her father, so she's going to be so chuffed about that as well. He did get a drive-through because of the warnings that he did have, that he had to slow down, and if he didn't see them, I can't say, but he certainly didn't react to them or sufficiently for the server to recognize that, and then he was called into the pits for a drive-through.
Well, that was a good race. It's allowing everyone to actually drive back quite nicely, so we can just have a quick look at our positions here. I'm going to just do a quick print screen.
Yeah.
So Jason Underwood getting fastest lap, that'll help. We don't get points for fastest lap, I don't think, no.
We haven't mentioned it before, so
yeah.
It's just the 3 qualifying, first, second and third in qualifying that get bonus points.
But alright, we're going to jump to an ad break. We'll be back shortly for race 2. Stay with us, we'll see you now. welcome back everybody. This of course is race 2 of the Sim Experience SA 2024 Mazda MX5 Cup. Of course, race 2 is round 5, race 2 from the SUZUKA West layout in Japan. This is race 2, another 20-minute race. For this race though, we do have the top 10 from the results of race 1 reversed. So whoever finishes in 10th starts in first. I'm your commentator Dennis Mitchell, and I'm joined once again by Sean Woodgate. Welcome back, Sean. Well, hopefully an exciting race 2.
Well, we certainly hope so, because there was a lot of fun at the fair in race 1, and we hope that they can reproduce the same as they're away. And it's Dinesh Singh that I think is in pole position. So yes, indeed it is, with Jonathan Benz second, Emily Benz in third, Timo Smith fourth. So let's see what Dinesh can do against Jonathan. Jonathan had that drive-through. Jonathan's up on the curbs already, and I think that unsettled the car, and Emily just decided, "See you, Daddy, I'll see you later." And she hugs the inside of the corner, blocks the line, and Jonathan has to go high up onto the curb again. There's somebody onto the grass. I wonder whether that'll be seen as an evasive mover to avoid an accident and be lenient. But certainly Emily was wide awake there, and when she saw what was happening, she just said, "Right, I'm going to go past you." And with the greatest of ease, that was Emily into second position. So Dinesh had a good start, and look at the back as they come through. But Emily's right there behind him, and Jonathan goes through for now, but he's on the inside of the corner. So if you can hold that line, Emily's actually in the middle of nowhere in that corner. She didn't do the defensive line, and she wasn't on the extreme right that you could do the actual switchback. So middle of the road is not a good place to be, specifically with cars as small as the MX5s and the track as wide as what it is at that specific corner. There's space for about 4 cars abreast. And she's got Timo Smith chasing. Oh, Emily's lost the back end. She's caught it and held on. And I think the person behind her got such a big fright that didn't gain an advantage either. So Andre Hildebrandt's having a good run as well, up into 4th position.
Yeah, and he's in the slipstream as well, so he's right there at the moment.
I think Jason Underwood had a moment, and he's caught back up to 6th position. So for some reason, Jason dropped down, but immediately came back up 2 positions. Again, it's Dinesh that has gone to 8th position. Now, I don't know what Dinesh did, but here again is an attack on Emily from Timo Smith.
Nicely played. He had that lined up 2 corners back.
Yeah. And that's the thing with this. There are some places, some corners on this track where you've actually got to think 2 corners ahead. Dinesh has got a penalty for track limits abuse. There's Gerrit also going a little bit more over the curbing than I think he would prefer to do. But nonetheless, we'll see what comes up for the display. There's another car in the back there that's also gone way beyond the limits. Jason Underwood now up into 5th position and very, very close to Renault. So look at this, 4 cars all over the show. There's 4 different racing lines just going through that corner as they battle each other out, and Gerrit Beekers is amongst the middle of them. So he's only in 8th position for now, but certainly will be trying to fight later on. Is he going to take 1 position? Of course, when you are in front, you've got the right to swing the car right in front of the car behind you, because that's the racing line. But then when the racing line changes twice, the direction change, there's cars onto the green. Definitely Gerrit needs to be very careful, because the system has been, as we've seen tonight, very strict into the straight as they go into the left hand. That'll follow into the left-handed sweep, and you should stick to the extreme left so that you're prepared for the double right-hander that'll swing them back onto the other side of the circuit, back to the Detmer curves. Oh, caught out on the brakes there, I think. There's a right and another right, and you'll see we're back on the old. Oh, who is it that took a nice action?
Andre Hildebrandt.
Yeah, and he's lost. He's down to 9th.
That's a shame. He was having such a good race.
Yes, and he's got Dinesh Singh right behind him. Dinesh Singh, of course, had a slowdown penalty.
Gerrit Beekers is off.
Gerrit. I think that was Gerrit.
It was indeed.
And
he's been connected.
Now that's a race incident. I don't think he saw him, but I think that car will more than likely be out of the race. And Gerrit, I'm not sure whether he'll have damage, which will mean the car is going to be undrivable, because that was decent contact. That was really, I think he just didn't see him, and you don't expect a car to be in the middle of the road that slow. It just happened. So, but then again, as I've said before, I'm not a judge of fact. I just tell you what I see, and that certainly wasn't very nice. And Gerrit's not going to be scoring very well, because he now finds himself down in 13th position. All the cars off the circuit and even onto the gravel there, out of the corner that, well, it's the exit of Spoon Curve that feeds into the straight. So I wonder if our little yellow window is going to pop up on the right-hand side. Where's Dinesh? He's recovered to 9th. But in the front of the fair, Jonathan Benz leads Timo Smit and Emily Benz in 3rd. Jason Underwood's in 4th. I can never remember his name, Renault, something like that. And Richard van der Westhuizen, I think it is, in 6th position. Sean Olivier, who had a DNF in race 1, is in 7th.
Oh,
Dinesh
background, Monet's off.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one that I always mix up with Gerrit. It's the one with less yellow. It's more black than it is yellow. And Gerrit's car is more yellow than it is black. But certainly Dinesh is recovering well. What's behind him? Let's find him first. That's Andre Hildebrandt. Then there's...
Gerrit is recovering. He's not giving up. He's a fighter.
I think that's a good thing that the car is as strong as it is, or whether the impact was just so square onto him that he's managed to keep going. But certainly he's not... Well, he tries the outside line, which is very difficult for this corner that they're coming to now, because he comes in on... There's just a touch there which unbalances the car now, and he managed to slow down enough that he didn't go. Dinesh Singer's off there on the left.
Seen guys scattering all over the show.
Yes, and that's actually as you come into the straight, so it's the exit of Spoon Curve, and in my opinion, once you've exited, but then again, as I say, I'm a commentator, not a driver, once you get into the point that you get into the exit of Spoon Curve, you've already done all the hard work, unless you got something wrong in the corner and you get a tank slapper or something like that, and you got a whole fistful of steering wheel going either way, trying to point the car in the right direction. But certainly what's happening in the front there, Jonathan has a 1.7 second lead over Timo Smit in 2nd. Jason Underwood is 1.7 seconds behind Timo, and Emily Benz is only, so she's been overtaken by Jason. She's only 0.3 of a second, but Jason was in 4th, so he's passed now for 3rd. So very interesting top 3 that we see at the moment. So there's Jonathan, and he's got a big gap between himself, and then it's Timo coming through there with a... I've now learned how to... Timo's also running an all-white car, but it has lime green rearview mirrors. So that's Timo's car. And then Jason Underwood also has a white car. It's Jason. And who's so close behind Emily? That's Renault. So Emily fighting for her existence. Emily runs the car with the blue and white. That's Emily in front of Matty. So Matty's holding on as well to see if he can get the slipstream on Emily. And you could probably see that they'll be drifting left unless you're running a defensive line. Here they go through the curve, and once you've gone through the curve to the left, then you'll stick to the left-hand side of the circuit for the double right-hander to come, which is what they do. Emily actually takes a neat line through there, gets it in narrow, drifts it out wide, uses the apex of the corner very well.
He's in the middle of the sandwich at the moment.
Yeah, it's not nice. I think as a driver, you've got something to focus on to attack, but you've also got to think of where you're going to put the car to have a semi-defensive line. There they go through underneath the backstretch and up the hill to the hairpin. It's slightly right, and then the hairpin arrives. And whoever wants to go out on the outside of that circuit is difficult, because the guys that are running the corner properly, they'll drift to the outside in front of you anyway, because that's the way the corner goes. And then it's the 200R, and if you wondered what the 200R and the 130R are, it sounds stupid. 130R, yeah. The Japanese are very technical. The radius of the curve of 130R is 130 meters. The radius of the curve for 200R is 200 meters. So that's how those corners got their names. 130R and 200R.
So Gerrit is currently in 9th place and challenging for 8th place.
Behind Andre Hildebrandt. So it's on the straight slipstream we've spoke about with these cars. Does work, because I wouldn't say they're low on horsepower, but compared to other cars that they drive, they are lowish on horsepower. Now it's the curve to the left, which they'll take flat out, I should imagine, and that just means that Gerrit will take that position. He'll probably drift a little bit left himself to line up for the next double right-hander, which he does, and Andre was thinking about going up the inside of him, but I think thought better of it because he wasn't quite in the right place to do that. So Gerrit now up into 8th position, which is not where he would like to be. Jonathan 1.5 seconds ahead of Timo, 1.7 ahead of Jason 1.2 seconds ahead of Emily, and Emily only 0.4 of a second ahead of Matty. So the top 3 are pretty much sorted, and then Emily has a battle on to maintain 4th. Is this Emily and Matty coming up here?
No, this is Sean and Rian.
Okay. Yeah, with the blue I thought, but it's got orange in, which Emily's car doesn't have. Now, Sean had a DNF, if I remember, in race 1. But here you can see they take the corner, drift wide, and then go right into the apex on the second part of it, and drift out to the right again.
There you go,
Sean.
Sean.
Clock saying 9 minutes to go. So
We do also have the vote for the driver of the day up, so you guys have decided to put that up early so we can hopefully get a few more votes in this time. So feel free to vote whenever you have a moment. You can vote for your favorite driver or the driver you feel is the most welcome for the award of driver of the day, whether that be for recovering well, or whether it be for defending well, or whether it will be just driving through the field nice and clean. Just vote for whoever you think is the best driver on the day.
right now, I can just thinking what happened in race 1 and what we're seeing in, as well in race 2. There certainly are a couple of candidates, and specifically, I think, even though he's not in the position that he'd like to be, Gerrit, who's normally in at least on the podium, he's shown that if you keep your head down and get back to it, regardless of the mistake that you made or this mistake that you've been forced into, as Sean Willifield gets a slowdown, you've got to keep it, you've got to be in it to win it, and he's shown that he's kept his head down and he's recovered some. There's a bit of, I think that Dinesh was slower through the corner than what Andre expected, and with Andre then taking brakes and avoiding action, that certainly put him in the middle of the road, which means he's going to be out of that corner very slowly and give up quite a lot of track distance.
So the gap extremely small, only 3/10. It's coming down with the slipstream, now almost 2.5 tenths.
Is this, yeah, Matty and Emily, what a battle this is.
Is he going to
Emily
go for
goes
the move?
wide onto the rumble strip. Matty sort of follows her, and then in doing so, he's too wide in the entry of that corner, my opinion again. As I say, I'm only the commentator, but as I think the graphics are going to show, he did have the wrong line going into the corner, and all of a sudden where he was 0.3 of a second, 0.2 of a second, he's almost a second behind Emily now, and she has some breathing space.
So back to the front, Jonathan is just sort of holding off Timo quite nicely at the moment, the gap being about 1.5 seconds. It sort of fluctuates slightly over, slightly under, depending on the location of the circuit. Jason is actually being gapped slightly by Timo, which I'm quite surprised by. I expected that Jason would maybe start to sort of slowly creep up to Timo, but Timo is holding pace with Jonathan, but Jason is falling back slightly, and Emily is actually holding station with Jason, actually slightly catching him as well. So Jason is the one going ever so slightly backwards into the hands of Emily. So with 6.5 minutes to go, I don't know if there'll be a chance, but we'll keep an eye on the gap. It's 1.2 seconds between Emily and Jason at the moment.
And the same gap between Emily and Matty. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.5, and a similar gap, 1.6 seconds to Sean, 2 seconds to Richard. So I think although all things can and often do change, somebody makes a mistake and that changes up the order completely, it looks as though the top 6 is pretty much the top 7 potentially. 8 even is potentially settled, and very different race to what we saw in race 1. Looks as though everybody's just focusing on finishing the race. That's what I say, but believe you me, I can assure you they are trying to catch up to the car ahead of them and trying to overtake. But certainly a great race at this stage. Dinesh also had an off and he's recovered somewhat, so nice. And who's got that slowdown? Melt.
Yes, so we did see it go wide into Spoon Curve. I'm not sure if it was from that or maybe after that.
Yeah, there was 1 or 2 that I did see and mention, and that's when I also gave the disclaimer as well to say I'm not the judge of fact, and we just say things the way that we see them underneath the track on the way to the right-hander. Well, it's not a right-hander, it's a slight sweep and then the hairpin. That hairpin seems to be quite difficult because it's so sharp, and I think you approach it quite fast. So 2 things at play: you've got to get the car slowed down and you've got to change direction 180 degrees, and to get that balanced smoothly, and you've got to take the right racing line, not necessarily the quickest one, but in this case the defensive one, to keep Dinesh behind you.
Nash is going to have to be forced around the outside here, and maybe he'll break early to do the cutback.
Yeah, I think when he did break, he braked quite a bit more than the car ahead of him, and looks as though he's not going to make the pass there.
But let's see with the slipstream what a difference it'll make. I think he's too far back, but he did have a slightly better exit, but I think it's not going to be enough. He'll probably catch into 130R, and then they both have to ease off slightly, and then it neutralizes itself.
Yeah.
Actually carried a bit of speed. Ooh, stayed on track just.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether this counts whether you're 2 wheels off the track or 4 wheels off the track, but certainly that one there, 2 wheels were definitely still on the black, which makes the difference as well. If you've got 2 wheels on the green and the others on the rumble strip, then that's borderline. I know that if you go back to bike racing, specifically last year with Brad Binder, he would just look, oh, there's not an exit that he would like to put in his diary, because as soon as you're onto the gravel there, the car just loses grip and you're fighting in recovery mode. So Melt's warning popped up again, so I'm not sure that he's slowed down enough for the server to detect it. Something to remember. Just over 3 minutes to go. Let's look at the gaps. Jonathan leads Timo by 1.9. Timo leads Jason by 1.3. What happened to Emily? She's down to 8th. She must have made a mistake somewhere.
Yes, I noticed it, but I didn't see what has happened. I can't see any other drivers affected, so I think she was sort of in the middle of no man's land, maybe made just a bit of a mistake trying to catch a bit too hard.
Yeah, well, she's still in a good point scoring position, but she was potentially in the top 5, but now finds herself in 8th position and all of 13 seconds ahead of Andra Hildebrandt. So she can just focus on what's happening in front of her, not worrying about what's happening behind her at all. But Jonathan leads still by that 1.6 seconds, and 1.3 seconds behind Timo is Jason, and Matty, who's going to be saying thank you very much for that 4th position with the demise of Emily dropping down. So interesting. I wonder if do they have the ability to record what they see out of there? Oh, who's off the track there? It's the one in blue. There's Melt Ada, I think it was.
It was Melt.
Yeah, that's into the barrier seriously enough that he gets a DNF immediately.
Yes. And just to let everyone know, we have taken all the votes for driver of the day. The driver of the day is indeed Gerrit Pierkes. Well done to Gerrit. There were quite a lot of votes tonight for a few of the drivers, so he gets the majority. He had 60% of the votes, so congratulations to Gerrit.
Well done. How far has he got up to? He's back up to 7th, and if you consider where he was, then, as I said, and I've just noticed, I think the cars that I was trying to differentiate by rearview mirror colors, they both have lime green, so they're probably the same team in any case. So it's Matty and Jason. It would be nice if you could get them. There was actually, I'm trying to think in which racing team it was. it was in touring cars in South Africa with the Enviro cars, BMWs. The only thing that you could differentiate, and I've got to remember, it was Dion Your Bad from Sean van, no, not Sean. Yes, it was Sean van Linde. The difference that you could recognize the two cars was just the color of the rearview mirrors. Other than that, they were identical. Jason has a slow down, which means that Matty might have a bit of catch up, but Matty's 3-point-something seconds behind. So it just goes to show, but Jason still in that third position, Matty 4 seconds behind him, but Sean Willifield, we haven't given much of a mention, he's only 0.2 of a second behind Matty, and that's for 4th and 5th. So towards the end, with half a minute to go, Sean Willifield is having a demon drive, now only 0.3 of a second behind Matty. So where he's come from, I don't know, but certainly going very well.
Stan's actually had a good race as well. I keep looking at Stan because Stan's sort of been fluctuating in some of the series. Having a good race in 12th place at the moment in a bit of a battle. He's just got Harvey Coase also having a good race tonight in 11th place ahead of him. And D Nash only a fraction ahead of them. So there's this battle and there's that battle going on as well.
Yeah.
And the time is officially over. I want to jump to the leader just to see where he is. So this will be the last lap.
So Jonathan, great race. And I wouldn't say turn up for the books. He's been very competitive. As he progressed in the series, he became more and more competitive. And he's got some back markers now. Is he going to get past them? I think they'll probably just stay out of his way, knowing that they don't want to influence his race. And Jonathan on the final lap.
Slow down for Timo. Timo currently in 2nd place. He's right there as well. He's not far back. Obviously trying really hard.
And Jason only 1.4 seconds behind Timo, so could there still be something that changes basically on the last lap? Oh, there's and that was all the way back. Carrot gets going again. Rian spins. Yeah, I think with the sand on the tires and probably an eager right foot and a bit of the red mist, he got going a lot faster than what the grip allowed him to.
So Jonathan will take race 2 victory. Well done to Jonathan. In 2nd place,
extremely well done.
Timo Smith, and in 3rd place, Jason Underwood.
And with that spin, Emily up to 7th. She was running 8th. So Timo Smith 2nd, Jason Underwood in 3rd, Sean Olivier in 4th, Matty in 5th, Emily in 6th. So Gerrit Beekers falls way down. That car seems to be only just going.
I think maybe he's allowing Rian to come back. Maybe he feels he was the problem and caused it. Yeah, looks like it. Okay. Gentlemen of him.
That is chivalry and gentlemanly. D-Nash and them also in amongst the penalties. They are so, and then he stops. That's not the way to do it. And he allows him past again. So, after you, sir? No, I'll go after you.
I think that's really crossed the line or something.
Yeah. So, yeah, certainly a turn up for the books as to where Emily eventually ending up 6th. So, shall I call it a recovery, or shall I say the guys in front of her managed to take themselves out of the race, and she managed to get back to 6th. I think she was running as high up as 4th at one stage. So Jonathan Benz, Timo Smith, Jason Underwood are the top 3 in this race. Sean Olivier, who had a DNF, and what a drive did he have to finish 4th in the 2nd race. A good one. Matty in 5th, Emily Benz in 6th, Richard van der Westhuizen in 7th position, Gerrit Beekers, Andre Hildebrand, D-Nash Singh, Harvey Coase. Nice to see Harvey finishing as well. Stan Besaidnout in 12th, Beekers in 13th position, van der Westhuizen in 14th. There's 2 of them. They attack me and they're both R's. So Beekers in 13th position, Van der Westhuizen in 14th, Jooste. That's Caroline. We haven't given Caroline a mention all night, and she's got a very creditable 15th position in race number 2. So well done to the ladies. Emily in 6th and Caroline in 15th position. Then it's Deploy van Aarde, and that's the way they finish. So
jumping to an ad break. We'll be back shortly for the interviews.
Great stuff.
All right, welcome back everybody for the completion of round 5 of the Sim Experience SA Safe Boys MX5 Cup, coming to you from the SUZUKA West Circuit in Japan. We are joined by our top 3 drivers for the evening, which are, in first place, Jason Underwood; in second place, Jonathan Benz; and in third place, Gerrit Bierkes. So well done, Jason, on first place overall. Looked like you came into this, you were a little bit off pace. I don't think you'd done much practice during the week, and you just got faster and faster. You had quite an exciting race meeting for race 1 and race 2. Talk us through your race. Well, both races actually were quite exciting.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, not much practice in the week, but it's just one of those tracks when you get a good rhythm and you get a good flow of it. It's, the track comes to you. I thought in qualifying, I just looked at them 4 guys in front of me and I thought, wow, I'm nowhere near the pace tonight. So strategy was just keep it clean, keep it safe, and just try and build every lap. And yeah, just stayed out of trouble, and it seems like it's paid off. So yeah, both races were very good. Trying to catch Jonathan and Timo in race 2 was pretty well, it wasn't going to happen. Just too quick tonight. But yeah, it was good fun racing all round. So happy with that.
Yeah, congratulations. Then in second position, I think it's the first time we've had you on the podium, or is it the second time? I think it's the first, Jonathan. Congratulations.
Well, it's the first time I've been brought in here, yeah, that's for
Yes.
sure.
So congratulations. I mean, you've had some fantastic races. You just haven't quite been on the podium yet. I think you've been 4th a few times, but finally on the
Yeah.
podium, and you were very close to the win. So congratulations on second. You seem to have really good pace here in qualifying. At one point, you had provisional pole for quite a while, and then it just got sort of
Yeah.
stolen from you at the end there. And those points are what has actually helped you get through here in the end. The qualifying points are absolutely crucial here. Talk us through your race. I mean, you had a brilliant race. Emily had a brilliant race. There were some really close battles in race 1 and in race 2 for yourself and for Emily.
Yeah, I think qualifying the pace was quite astounding. So it was quite something to knock out that lap time, and then I just couldn't match the sectors again to improve, to take pole back. But I can't complain with P2 there, and I had a great start, which gave me the lead. But then the guys fought hard, so they didn't let me get any sort of rhythm up front there, so I just got a bit mugged, and then mugged again, and then mugged again. And then eventually, we were going too wide into so many corners there, and I picked up far too many corner penalties, and I didn't give the time back in time, and I got a drive-through penalty in that first race. So that was a bit unfortunate. There would have been a good battle to the end, I think. And race 2 was very cool. I mean, after I did my drive-through penalty, I was sitting in P10 with driving right by Emily, and then we kind of decided that it'd probably be better to hang around P10 and get a good second race in, which is what we did. And we were surprised to see Singh on pole there, because I don't know how that happened. But we had a great start, great little battle to get out front, and then I just had to get a rhythm, which I couldn't get in race 1. But the guys behind me were knocking lap times a little bit quicker than me, but I was just managing to manage that gap just a little bit, enough to keep the win in the end for race 2.
I think what caught everyone out for the start of race 2 was maybe one of the drivers in the top 10 disconnected. I think it was Monet Deploy. I see he had disconnected, so I think that shuffled the grid, and that meant you were 9th, and that's why you ended up 2nd, and Dean Ash was then on pole position. But some brilliant races there. Actually, quite amazing that with the drive-through penalty, you still ended up 2nd overall. So had you not had the drive-through penalty, you probably would have had 1st overall. So a great meeting for you.
Yeah, I definitely can't complain, and as good as it is to get points and overall for the championship, it's just good to have good clean racing, and I think that's what everybody really wants with sim racing, is good races, and we're getting that here.
Good stuff. And in third place, Gerrit, unfortunately, you didn't have the cleanest of races tonight. There was lots of clean racing to be had, but yeah, you seem to have a few incidents. Still managed to get third overall, so a good comeback drive. So good to have you on the podium. Just shows your pace is there. You were there in qualifying, which I think also helps. Having the extra points for pole position was a major help. A rough second race, but like I say, a good recovery drive, and here you are in third place. So talk us through your meeting.
Yeah, I really actually didn't expect to be a qualifying went well. Actually went really well. Qualifying was right, and then I had a bit of hardware issues tonight, so I wasn't comfortable really anyway. And then first race went alright. Janneman was really quick, which is good to see. And then second race I got taken out, but it's all good, no problems.
Yeah, speaking of Janneman, he certainly was on fire tonight, him getting race 1 victory, and looked like he was having a good race too, and on his way through the field as well, and then had a bit of hardware issues, unfortunately. So looks like he's going to be a threat for the rest of the championship. Sean, would you like to ask the drivers any questions?
The easiest one to ask, good evening everybody, is to Jonathan, but not aimed at you specifically. What do you guys think compared to other sims, the track limit warnings that you get and the slowdown warnings, and then Jonathan, for ignoring them, you obviously didn't enjoy the drive-through, but Dennis and I were talking about it. We actually enjoy the idea that it gets detected and issued right there on the track, and you've got to respond to it. What's your opinion of doing that, or the sim doing that?
Look, if we compare it immediately to what ACC does, where it gives you 3 chances. In fact, you can even play the system on ACC where if you're running off, you just get off the throttle and then back on the throttle, and then it won't give you an actual warning. So you get away with it a lot in ACC. So it's kind of different in RaceRoom here, where you have to be a lot more observant of your corner cuts, and sometimes it's a bit aggressive because you still got 2 wheels on the black stuff, and then you're still getting a slowdown warning or a penalty point. And I think the way that we're running it here is working because it's not ranked racing, so we're not. If we do stick it over the edge a little bit and then we get a warning, then we're it's not ruining our overall rank in RaceRoom. But I like it because there's no abuse and there's no getting away with anything.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. It's great.
Yeah, I think you have much the same opinion as what Dennis and I were discussing. And also the fact that you can't argue, go and appeal, or have a cool down and write love letters to anybody. It's done, deal with it, and get on with the race. So pretty much sorted. But great racing. I've been away for 2 races, so great to be back behind the microphone. Thanks, guys. I certainly enjoyed the racing tonight.
Then one last question for Jason. Jason, you took back the lead in the championship of the last round. I think you were probably a bit surprised by that. Tonight, probably again, you were a bit surprised to have come in here without any real practice, looking like you were going to maybe not have the pace, and yet you've come away with victory and extended your championship lead. Were you very shocked by that?
I'm still shocked, Dennis. Like I say, just going by the practice times and qualifying times, I was about 0.4 of a second slower than the guys in front of me, so there was no ways I was going to keep up with them on single lap pace. But over race distance, if I just kept it clean, kept it within a 1/10 or 2 each lap, I knew I could be consistent. And then that's probably what's when I say saved me at the end of the day. But like Sean always says, to finish first you got to finish. So that's the strategy at the moment, because I'm not the quickest by any means. So just trying to be as consistent as possible, and hopefully that gets me over the line with, I think it's 3 rounds left or 4 rounds left.
This is the 5th round, so 5 left.
So 5, it's only halfway. All right. So it's still a long way to go, and these guys are quick. I mean, Yandre was super quick tonight. Jonathan also, again, quick. Timo's up there now. So it's a battle of even anyone in the top 10 can win in any given time. It's just the person that stays on the track the longest, I think, is going to get the trophy at the end of the day. So that's what we're looking to do.
All right, well, great stuff, and congratulations to our top 3 drivers. I'm going to say goodnight to you guys and drop you out. So thank you, and we'll catch you guys all next week.
Yes, everybody.
Thank you,
Cheers,
guys.
bye-bye.
Thank you.
Well done, guys. Well done.
I'm just going to drop into the room above so we can carry on with our farewells. All right, so I think I've got rid of Sean by mistake. Just bring Sean back. Sorry, Sean.
That's okay. I knew you'd drag me back again.
So, of course, that brings us to the end of this round, which is the end of round 5, which means we're now officially complete with half of the championship. So going to the latter half of the championship, we will then be heading off to Zandvoort, which will then be the full Grand Prix circuit, not the national version, which you sadly missed, Sean. So we will be finally going back to Zandvoort. You, of course, know Zandvoort intimately, having commentated there in real life. So that's our next round. Then we'll do Sepang North, which is a fairly nice track as well. Then it's the Portimao circuit. I think that's the full Grand Prix circuit then. We've already done the chicane version. Then it's Brands Hatch Indy, which is quite an exciting layout for these cars. And then it's the Hockenheim National Circuit, which is only a fraction shorter than the actual full Grand Prix circuit. It just means there's a little bit of the top end cut out. So it's basically the same amount of corners and layout. It's just that the one or the 2 parts that join are slightly shorter. So we'll explain that when we get to that round. But next round off to Zandvoort. These cars should be quite exciting around the full Zandvoort circuit. The drivers, I think, have practiced there quite a lot. So that should be quite an exciting one for the drivers. Don't you think, Sean?
I think now that I'm just thinking the layout of the circuit and what we've discovered these cars do, if you get a good exit and somebody that's fast in front of you out of Ari Lion Lake, which is the last banked corner and it goes into the straight, and the length of the straight at Zandvoort before we get to Tarzan Curve, then I think we are going to have some very, very close racing. Tarzan Corner itself is quite sharp, and that inside section, then again over the hill, more chances for overtaking as you get back to what the drivers generally regard as the Mickey Mouse portion of the circuit. But I think if you get good exit out of the last corner or the setup to the last corner, which used to be Kumo, I think it doesn't have a sponsor at the moment, but certainly Kumo, Ari Lion Lake and the main straight, we're going to see if the guys like they were racing tonight, the top 5, then we can see changes for the pole, well, not necessarily for pole, but changes of the lead happening during the race, and I think more than once. So I look forward to Zandvoort.
Likewise. So until then, have a good week, everyone. And remember to hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed what you're watching. And if you have any safe issues, remember to head over to the Safe Boys. They can do safe sales, so new safes. They can do second-hand safe sales. They can do safe repairs. If you're stuck and can't get into your safe, they can help you out. Give them a shot. They'll be able to help you with any safe issues. So until then, see you all next week. Have a great week. And we will catch you all on the 16th of May for round 6.
See you in the Netherlands.